On the night of November 28, 1977, something extraordinary happened. In a small town in England, millions were watching their televisions, ready for their nightly dose of news. Little did they know, they were about to experience a broadcast that would terrify them and leave unanswered questions lingering for decades. The evening started normally enough. Families gathered in their living rooms, enjoying their snacks and chatting about their day. Among them was a young boy named Tom. He was 10 years old, with bright eyes filled with curiosity. Next to him sat his older sister, Sarah, a teenager who usually rolled her eyes at their parents' choice of programs. Their mom, Mrs. Green, had just settled into her favorite chair, excited to see the news. Their dad was in the kitchen making popcorn. As the clock struck 8, the news anchor's familiar face appeared on the screen. The news began innocently, with reports about local happenings. People were mostly interested in the weather and sports updates. Suddenly, the news channel cut to a strange, static-filled image. Instead of the news anchor, a blurry figure appeared on screen. It looked like a man, but his features were distorted, almost like a bad dream. Everyone in the Green household stared at the screen, bewildered. "What is this?" Sarah said, squinting at the screen. Tom's heart raced. He had never seen anything like it. "Shush," their mom commanded softly, her eyes glued to the television. The blurry figure began to speak, but what came out was not in English. It sounded like a jumble of sounds and growls. The family exchanged confused glances. Outside, the neighbors peeked through their curtains. The same thing was happening in almost every home on the street. Kids, parents, and even pets were glued to their televisions, trying to grasp the meaning behind the broadcast. "Is this a prank?" someone murmured from across the street. After a few minutes, the picture cleared a bit, and the figure looked more humanoid. "This is a message," he shouted, his voice echoing with an eerie tone. "We are the operators. You are not alone. Prepare for the truth." Tom felt a chill run down his spine. The room was silent, except for the mysterious voice pouring out of the television. "Is this real?" Sarah whispered, clutching her brother's hand tightly. "What truth?" Suddenly, the screen erupted with images of galaxies, strange shapes, and lights that flickered in and out. The figure continued, speaking rapidly. "Cooperation is necessary. A change is coming. Fear will not save you." The broadcast continued for about 5 minutes, filling the room with an unexplainable sense of dread. Then, just as suddenly as it had started, the screen went blank. Tom blinked, trying to process what he had just seen. "That was weird," he finally said, breaking the silence. "Was it some kind of joke?" Sarah asked, still shaken. Their mom quickly turned the television off. "I don't want to talk about this," she said, her voice trembling. "Let's just forget it." But forgetting was not easy. The next day, everyone was talking about the broadcast. News channels were flooded with calls from people claiming to witness the terrifying event. Some thought it was a government experiment, while others believed it was an elaborate hoax. Rumors spread like wildfire. Jess, a girl from Tom's school, told stories of how the government was trying to cover up alien contact, while Mr. Thompson, the history teacher, said it could be a sign of something supernatural. Everyone had their own theory. As the days went by, life gradually returned to normal. But Tom couldn't stop thinking about the broadcast. Each night, he wondered if it might happen again. One Sunday evening, while he was at the local park with Sarah and a few other friends, he overheard a group of kids recounting their own experiences. "I heard it was the end of the world," said one boy, his eyes wide with excitement. Tom couldn't resist joining in. "I saw it. There was this crazy voice," he said, trying to sound brave. "Yeah, but what did it mean?" asked Sarah, frowning. "I don't know," Tom admitted, feeling uneasy, but it felt real. Weeks turned into months, and the mystery never fully went away. Though many continued to speculate, no one ever came forth to explain what had happened that night in 1977. The government issued a brief statement about it being a prank or a technical failure, but no one believed that explanation. Years later, Tom, now grown up, often recalled that night. It left him with a sense of intrigue and a reminder of how strange life can be. Sometimes Things happen that we cannot explain, and perhaps that was the mystery's true power. On quiet nights, he would turn on his television, half hoping to see something unusual again. But the screen remained blank, as if waiting for another moment that would terrify millions and never be explained. The echoes of that night, November 28, 1977, would forever linger in the back of his mind, a reminder of curiosity, fear, and the unknown.